All right, everyone, it is 5:15. All of the clocks that I see are different, but it is 5:15 to officially call this special board meeting. Thank you. Just wanted to make sure I knew what it was. This special board meeting to order. All board members are present, as well as some amazing members of the cabinet and administrative team. Welcome to any guests that may be listening now or later in the future. We'll go ahead and move to approve the agenda for this meeting.
So, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so we have just one piece of action, which is approval of the resolution number 944. Do I need to read the whole thing out, or is that sufficient? Okay, great. Just wanted to make sure, for purposes. So if I could get a motion,
So moved. Second.
any discussion, questions?
So this is a motion that's required by. OSPI.
That is actually this.
Okay.
Essentially just to certify that we are.
So, yeah, so this resolution certifies that we are in pending conditions. I did provide the draft letter from OSPI that they will give to us once this resolution is passed. That letter is in draft form. I think there's a couple of updates to that letter for dates that need to be made, but they will send that to us once you all.
We're gonna complete anywhere complete definition of what constitutes going in, what are the particular conditions that come up that require going in planning conditions. At one point, I understood it like if we had 3 months of negative fund balance, that is by definition going in planning conditions. Are there others?
I think the negative cash balance coinciding with the negative fund balance.
Or any one?
I believe I believe it might be 2 or 3 months. I
Okay,
will have to
okay.
check on that for
Okay.
you. Obviously, we're in a situation because we actually ended the fiscal year with a negative fund balance.
Right.
So that automatically put us into.
Okay, so that's another.
Because that is the other avenue, is that if you're new with a negative fund balance, you are automatic.
And you find this is pretty accurate that we're gonna end this in the year 23-24. I'm assuming it's the school year, right? So as of in June, we're gonna be at a negative $4.3 million.
So our any fiscal year is August 31st, so we run September 1st to August 31st. So the $4.3 million is a projection. We think that we'll be worth for 3.4 million to 4.3. And the reason why I'm keeping 4.3 in this resolution's case is we are continuing to analyze. I just want to make sure nothing else comes up or pops up that I'm not aware of. We believe that we captured everything, but this number is giving just a little bit of a capacity. This number is also used by OSPI so that when we are in binding conditions, we cannot go above that number. So I'm trying to make sure that I have a little bit of wiggle room in case there's something that I didn't see or catch as we're looking at where we're going to.
So we had a lot of discussion a few weeks ago about people turning in different monies that we owed as a district. Are you pretty confident that those have all come in at this point in the game, and that we're not foreseeing that anybody else is having a large bill out there for us to pay?
We believe that we've kept, I'm gonna say with 98%. I think might be a couple of numbers that I need to do some research on. So that gives me another reason why I wanted to keep this number of 4.3. And so I'm continuing to analyze, but I believe that we have captured the majority of the figures, and I have actually directed staff with this is your formulating to higher up to speed, and we are current with their numbers. So working really hard, and I think we're really close to it.
When will we know if, when can we breathe easy and say, this is the number?
So what I'm doing is I will presenting the projection to you at the February 27th board meeting.
Okay.
It's not final. Part of the steps that I have to take is to undergo a re-budget of the 23-24 school. So that means I have to go into the OSPI system and calculate some of the budgeting to get us to that real number. So while I'm projecting and what I'm going to show you is about close to 3.5 million, that final number will probably come to you March 40. Once I go through that process with the ESD and OSPI to get to that final budget for the 2024.
And that's a process that's a result of being in final conditions
Correct.
where we're allowed to go in and we do that.
Actually, we're required.
Required to.
So it's not even,
No.
it's not even.
It's not a choice.
It's not
Got
a
it.
choice.
Okay.
So I'm essentially not 100% redoing the budget, but I'm updating the 2024 budget and then I'm probably going to then turn on the budget.
Is that something that will come to the board for approval, the
Yes.
rebudgeting? Okay,
Yes.
What's scary about this whole system to me is going back to it's not, we don't true things up, you know, at the end of every month or even at the end of every quarter. It's, you know, wait till the end of the year. That's a little scary. I don't know if does the state WASBO, the, you know, the Washington State business officers, are they pushing, you know, because we would need at a state level an investment in basically a new accounting system, basically to, you know, change that, but I don't know, is anybody out in the
I mean,
legislature on that one?
There's system controls that I'm starting to look at and see what we can do to improve on that close process. So it's never a true hard close.
Yeah,
that we do
right.
for the month. But there's things that we can do a little bit differently, I think, to improve our processes to ensure that we're meeting deadlines and we're doing reconciliations and things of that nature. That's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But that is one of the things I will also be looking at, some of those system improvements. Just to get a little bit more accuracy.
But you're not aware of anything at the state level going on, that a lot of school districts are saying, let's change this whole thing.
I guess my one other question, and I don't know if it's for this or the next time that we meet. So we're still in school year. Things still can happen and monies can still be spent. Are we in somewhere thinking there that part is that 4.3 kind of gap is we may be going beyond, you know, or do we have some sort of, you know, contingency when a pipe breaks or a student comes in from out of town? You know what I mean? Where are we? And like I said, I don't know if that's this because we're voting because of OSPI, we have to do this, but I'm kind of curious about what that means and what that looks like for monies.
I'll let Amy answer the question because you're working with the bond insurance folks and all of that. But one of the things that we're looking at, making some adjustments now, for example, we've talked about, we haven't had sort of like a restriction on hiring, right? But maybe proposing a hiring freeze formally, those kinds of things. So we're looking at doing some additional things because we need to start looking at reducing that number. My goal is to get that reduced as much as we can, because let's say something does happen, you know, we have to plan for some. So we're looking at some of those, tightening some of those internal controls and maybe formalizing some communication around that. So we're looking at all of that, but we've been doing it more internally through a decision-making process, but I think we have to sort of say, this is what we need to do and stop hiring, stop this, stop that. And there's a couple other things we've been talking about as well. We're trying to come up with lots of solutions. Oh geez, the same, I don't know what's going on, I'm gonna turn this off. I think the other thing is looking at, what we're looking at is also not only that, but looking long-term. So we talked about some bargaining conversations as well. So analyzing, we're at right now analyzing, I'll just say one, for example, is potentially like a furlough day, for one that's sort of one over, that's an employee over 200. I'm not saying that we're doing it, people who are worried, but I'm just saying it's a conversation we need to have, because we need to have an agreement with all our union partners. So what does that look like? When will we do that? If we did agree to do that? I know that other districts have talked about that as well, and if it's even significantly would impact our budget or not. So those are the questions. Those are things we're looking at. We're analyzing all of those possibilities, but we do have to work with groups ahead of time. And so the bargaining team is aware of what we're looking at. And in order, I know for us to be fiscally benefit from something like that, it has to be an all or nothing approach. It can't be just one group here or what, it has to be everybody is committing to do that. So that's some things we're talking about. And so there's long-term and then there's short-term, and we're actually getting ready to think about communicating some of those pieces, because we still are getting staffing requests. We're still getting these things because of, past practices. And so I think we have to be really clear that there's not the funding that we have before to do that.
Well, and we really didn't have the funding.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, it was
Yeah.
never really
Yeah.
there, so.
Yeah.
So now we have to make decisions. Okay.
Yep, and those were decisions, and I'm taking that on to fix it, and correct it
Great.
as much as we can.
Questions, thoughts? All right, so all in favor of approving resolution number 944?
All right.
All right, it is approved, and we'll officially adjourn this meeting at 5:27. I just need a motion in a second.
Moved.
All right, we are
Off the record.
adjourned.
Is this gonna work?
Hold on, wait.
Yeah,
Wait.
Oh, we're still on the record.
All
We're on the
right.
record?